Well, hello. Welcome to the forecast for October 7th until October 13th. My name is Desiree DeLune. Welcome to my channel. I am your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer. And we are going to continue this conversation around this eclipse season that we are in and how we're going to be handling it for the week following. So I'm going to share my screen very quickly. And I do ask that you like, subscribe, share this away, and remember to hit that bell as well. This helps to send the information out to the people who need to hear this. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bigger so that you can see. Now, before I go into this week, I just want to revisit, come back to October 2nd, which is or was the eclipse in Libra, and it is a south node eclipse, and it also has Mercury right connected to it. Um, there are some challenges with this eclipse that we've had, and let me know how you handled the eclipse down below, because Mars had a heavy hand right on top of both, or actually all three, of the moon and the sun and Mercury. So, one thing to remember, just basics with eclipses, it's great endings and great beginnings. And these are things that are very unpredictable, usually sudden and rapid in changes. It may happen on this day, which because it is the peak of this energy, but understand that this eclipse window is a couple of weeks long. So we are still currently, as you listen to this, under the influence of this eclipse. Now, Libra is a sign that has to do with relationships and has to do with the other. And what I notice here with Mars being very strong, it is a square aspect in conversation with the sun, moon, and Mercury, is there may be some separation, some distancing, some ending of some kind of relationship, or it's something that we are interested in. Libra also represents our pleasures and our fun, and maybe there's some kind of activity that used to give you great joy and no longer doesn't anymore, and that may end and something new will take up space instead. But Mars is conflict oriented, it's argumentative, and it's very disruptive and tense. And so, with Mars also ruling weapons and cutting and severing, that's the thing is, whatever is ending, it's quite an abrupt ending that is going to happen. It may be a nice clean cut as well. So it isn't really the happiest of eclipses. It is fraught with a lot of challenges and difficulty and possibly even some pain and hurt along the way. I'm hoping that it is not that intense for you, but please let us know what is going on with this eclipse for you. What is ending and making room for that new beginning? Because just know that when we're next to the south node, there's going to be a heavy influence of putting something behind us, putting something in the past, and then opening up that room for something new to come through. Okay, so that's the eclipse, and that's still in the background. So keep that in mind. And then let's go into how we're going to be responding to this eclipse, because that's largely the discussion for this week. And one of my main themes that I am seeing throughout the week is to trust yourself. Intuition is going to be a bit higher this week. We have so many great conversations that are helping you to be very clear and sharp, and your intuition being very in focus so that you know how to properly respond to all of these abrupt changes that may be happening in that part of your life. And, again, if you haven't checked out your chart, you do need your birth time though. Take a look at where this Libra is in your chart in terms of, what house number it is overlaying. And I have a link down below that shows you how to properly look up your chart so that it's in whole sign houses, and you'll have a whole sign over one whole house to give you an idea. In this particular example, just to give an example, is that one here, this whole Libra is in the first house, and the first house has to do with the physical body. It also has to do with identity. And when I think about this, Libra represents beauty and style. And so a person with this kind of situation may have a pretty big change in the way that they style themselves, dress themselves, letting go. Possibly, they might go start a very intense like weight loss journey because they are letting go of this old identity, or a part of themselves where they don't feel beautiful anymore, and they're moving into beauty. So this is just an example, and health and symmetry, wholeness, like those are all representative of Libra in action here. So that's just one idea. And let us know what house the Libra is over in your chart, because that's going to be the area of your life that is undergoing some kind of change. And I also have a document down there that represents the different houses and what each house means. So go ahead and grab that too. Okay, so let's continue on for the forecast. Now, Monday will represent a lot of this week. A lot of the aspects are going to be the same. So definitely listen all through Monday. And then if you want to hear the little nuanced changes with the moon, then stick around for the rest. So Monday, our sun is in Libra right here, and it's Mercury is also pretty close to it still. So we still have this huge Libra energy that is affecting us, and Libra is about nice communication, being very diplomatic, being able to see other people's perspectives, being open-minded, and it also rules our relationships and connections. And so there's definitely going to be a desire and an interest to be in connection and conversation and communicating with the people that we love and the people that we enjoy. And I like this kind of communication. It's very understanding. It's very kind and open because Mercury is here in Libra. So there's so much grace that we are offering the people in our lives, and others giving us grace as well. And like I talked about earlier, beauty, adornment, style, art, music, ambiance, things that just rule beauty arts. Okay, that is everything Libra. So there may be an interest and an attention towards that. I've noticed for me personally, beautifying my home, making sure my flower arrangements are on point. Those are things that I just care a little bit more about than I usually do. Okay, and another great thing too, if you are in like a season of selling things or buying things and negotiating, as Mercury rules that, this would be a great time. There are other features too. I also like this Jupiter conversation that is happening. Jupiter is growth and success, and Mercury often represents negotiations and buying and selling. So maybe if you are looking to buy a home or sell a home, to give you an idea, this would be a nice season to do so. The one thing we have to be careful of is that sometimes Mercury here in Libra can be a bit sugarcoating and just trying to not rock the boat. So just ensure that you say what you really do need to say and what you really want to say, and make sure that you're not minimizing, the importance of something you're trying to make, a point you're trying to make. Okay. All right, so that's that. Let's take a look at the moon. The moon is in Sagittarius, And Sagittarius is a fire sign, and this has great passions. Usually, the fire signs stimulate excitement and enthusiasm and passion. And with Sagittarius, it's a passion for learning, it's a passion for understanding. So, I really like this combination of Mercury and Libra, which brings that openness and this objectivity too, and making sure that we are hearing everyone out. But then, the moon in Sagittarius is even more curious to understand too. It cares about finding truth. It wants to understand truth, and it is open to go in many different realms and different directions of thinking, just to make sure that we have a good 360-degree view. Another thing about moon in Sagittarius is that it is futuristic. It can see ahead. It can see what's coming up. And so when I talked about trust yourself, we have a lot of indicators here where the moon is strengthened. And the moon represents our intuition, it represents our emotions. And there's a lot of this intuitive intelligence and emotional intelligence that we are experiencing this week, especially with all this eclipse stuff that's happening. What the moon is helping us do in this week is to really pull the meaning and the reasoning why things are unfolding the way that they are, also having that emotional intelligence about it, rather than throwing tantrums or just feeling defeated. Well, the moon is showing me this week that we're ready to handle the truth. We're ready to receive the truth, and we are ready for this transition time. We're ready for that part of our life to really change and understand that it's the natural next phase. And so we're getting a lot of insights with our moon this week on knowing how to interpret and define and what kind of meanings that we're attaching to the situations that are happening in our life. So that's our moon in Sagittarius. There is a lot of conversations though with the sun and so Mars has these squares, right? Those are still there. Those are still apparent. We had it at the eclipse, and it's still going to be a little point of contention. So just be careful with the rushed thinking and just being a little too hasty, jumping to conclusions. We may have some challenges and conflicts that come up as well. Mars square Sun can bring some, little fires, some crises. I still like the condition of the moon. That way you can handle them as they come. But just keep that in mind that that's there. We do have Jupiter, though, as I mentioned, it's got nice trines to the Sun and Mercury. So that will, despite whatever little challenges and crises and conflicts that surface, Jupiter sees the bigger picture. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius. That's why you're going to see some similarities here. But we have that Jupiter is going to provide that optimistic perspective, the silver lining, finding a way through and finding a way through whatever challenges that have come your way. So I really love the beautiful effects of Jupiter that we have on our moon and Mercury, despite some of the challenges it may come across. Okay. All right. So that is our Monday. Oh, we do have, nope, there's two more aspects we need to talk about. So Mars is also in trine with Venus right here. And we've talked about this in the last weeks, but this is going to continue on until October 15th. And I like that this is really brings about passion and action towards things that we really care about. Like when we look at Venus, Venus represents our desires, our wants, our pleasures, our creativity even. So I like this mix of I am going to move towards what gives me joy, what is satisfying, what is pleasurable. It's very proactive in creativity as well. So if you are an artist of some kind, you're going to really like this influence. And again, it's going to be around until October 15th. And then we have also Mars in a trine with Saturn. We actually have a grand trine. I mentioned this last time, where we've got Venus, Mars, and Saturn in one big blue triangle here. But with the Mars in trine with Saturn, this brings stability. The Saturn is about stability. It's about discipline. It's about perseverance. So we have this passion that is persevering through any hard times, if there are any, which could happen with the Mars in square to Sun and Mercury. But it moves through it with grace, ease, diligence. That grace and ease comes from the Venus, from planet of Venus, and then Saturn is just diligent, steadfast, cannot be discouraged. That's what I love about this influence, is that even if there are major changes happening to you that might look and feel not fantastic, however, at the same time, there isn't discouragement. It isn't knocking us down. If anything, it's giving us more of that motivation and that drive to overcome or drive through, step fully into the transition and do what we need to do with grace and poise and ease. So I really love that we have this all the way until October 10th, this Saturn and Mars trine. And it also prevents us from being easily distracted, or, the whole shiny object syndrome. Nope, that's not going to get us off track. We are right here. Follow through. This is good follow through energy. This is good commitment energy, commitment to whatever is critical and important for you right now. So that is going to stay, like I said, till October 10th. Let's continue on to Tuesday. Now, on Tuesday, our moon is still in Sagittarius. Moon just has a lot happening to it. There's a lot of conversations. That's the only thing. Actually, Venus too. But the moon is the most notable thing for this day. We have moon in sextile with Mercury. So a lot of communication, a lot of talking, a lot of texting, a lot of emailing. You probably are just going to need to express yourself with what's going on. It's a good time to talk about important things as well, having important conversations. It's fluid. The way that you are expressing your thoughts and your feelings is well received because it's got that Mercury in Libra, which has a graceful way of communication, and you're going to get to the truth of the matter because that's what Moon in Sagittarius cares about, is getting down to truth. So important, truthful, honest conversations are on your side on Tuesday. We also have Moon in opposition to Jupiter, which is going to bring those feelings of optimism and good luck and possibility and hopefulness as well. We do have Moon in square with Saturn, so that is one that's challenging, and that can provide some feeling of restriction, and it can bring some challenge in finding connection with others. So there is that too in the background. Just keep that in mind. But overall, I like, we're on Monday. Sorry. Overall, I like the condition. Here's the moon square Saturn. I like the condition of the moon. I feel like it has a lot more positives to it than that it will be able to overcome whatever Saturn is influencing here. So moon being in Sagittarius and the moon having a great sextile with Mercury are huge pluses. And then we have the Venus in opposition to Neptune. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not to Neptune. It's to Uranus. So this is going to be right here, Uranus. This is going to bring in some change, some excitement to your relationships, to your fun and pleasure and play. So this overall, I find this to be a nicer day. Tuesday's going to be a nicer day. And also with that moon in sextile with Mercury and moon in Sagittarius still, this is where I'm talking about that our intuition, it's stronger, it's crisper, it's cleaner, and you'll see how that even improves throughout the week so that we're able to just navigate and understand even logically what's going on and what's happening. On Wednesday, we do have a change of the moon. The moon now moves into Capricorn. This is an earth sign, and this is going to help with us feeling very grounded. Yes, because earth signs are very grounding, but it's also being responsible, taking care of our responsibilities, a desire to attend to our responsibilities, and creating some structure and order and routine around that. So it's goal oriented too, and it we have that beautiful, Mars-Saturn trine up until the next day, up to Thursday. But with that there and the moon in Capricorn, oh, you're just gonna check off all the boxes that matter right now. And then we have a moon that is a square with Neptune. This will bring up some more increased emotional sensitivity and possibly some insecurity here. So be careful of that. There's more vulnerability to deception and being taken advantage of. So don't answer scam calls. Do you get enough of those? I am so sick of those scam calls. But be on the lookout, making sure that no one here is taking advantage of your kindness and compassion. And that's the thing with Neptune and moon, is that there is more kindness and compassion and understanding, which then can lead some vulnerability, leave some openness to being taken advantage of. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, we have moon still in Capricorn, and it is square with the sun. So again, this can bring up some tension within relationships, might deal with some annoyances and irritations throughout the day. We then have moon in opposition to Mars, and that's a little bit tense too. Mars can bring irritability, impatience, and just some anger and frustration. So this might be an irritating day overall. And we do have the moon in sextile with Saturn, which at least we have that because Saturn is going to bring that old like wisdom, that understanding, some maturity about this. So my hope is that the sextile to Saturn can give some perspective and see the bigger picture rather than, getting so caught up in like little irritations throughout the day. Okay. Now, what I do like is that the Mercury square Mars is gone. So at least we have that let up, because Mars square Mercury can cause us to be very verbally aggressive too. So at least that is relieved. Now, we also have Venus on this day in trine with Neptune. I like this. This is a very romantic conversation here. Brings out relaxation, imagination, daydreaming, creativity, and so if you need a boost of creative juices, you'll have access to that on Thursday. And we have this all the way until October 20th. So if you've got projects that require your creative side, this is the time to do it. This is the time. We've kind of been under that influence for a while too. All right, then we have Mercury in square to Pluto. That could be a rough one, but you will desire deeper interactions. You're going to want to understand the root of things, and in your relationships, this is not going to be those surface level conversations. You're going to want to like dive head in first into what just getting down to the root of issues and not dancing around it. Maybe with it being in Libra though, it's going to come out in a softer, nicer way, but still, we're not going to avoid like the elephant in the room, essentially. Now, we do have Moon getting pretty close here. It's getting closer to Pluto, and that's only going to intensify the need to discuss the truth, discuss the real issues at hand. All right, so let's continue to Friday. Friday, we have Moon pretty much conjunct Pluto. So feelings are going to be quite intense here, very strong, revealing of what's hidden. So there is a lot of psychic energies that is packed into Pluto. And then when Moon is next to Pluto, you're probably going to get a lot of strong intuitive hits on this day about what's really going on within you or within others. As you are communicating with others, it will be hard for them to hide anything. It will be revealed. It'll be right on the surface. Even if they're not saying it, you're going to feel it right on the surface. So, one of the things we do need to be careful of with this kind of conjunction is getting into obsessive things. Just also be careful of poisons on this day too. We don't want to get too carried away with them because sometimes the intensity of truth is so much we have a desire to numb them or calm them down. What I do recommend instead is doing some physical action. Do some physical action, do some physical movements just to release that tense energy here. Okay. All right. So the moon has other conversations going on too. We have a moon that is square Mercury. So very opinionated and plus like remember it's right next to Pluto. So a lot of intense dialogue for sure and possibly some nervous energy, and this actually would be really great for investigative work or deep study in something, deep focus into something, really getting to the bottom of of the truth of some matter or the bottom of some subject that you're really curious about and interested in. This may even make you want to like tidy up your home. Clearing clutter, I would say, would be a great one. And beautifying your space would be a great way to relieve some of this tension as well. We do have not only this this moon in conversation with Pluto, but it's also trining Uranus over here. And Uranus is like that lightning strike out of the sky, all of a sudden revelations. And so what, as I'm mentioning, like throughout this week, like we're getting hit left and right and left and right. I recommend doing some journaling or voice notes or something, recording what gets you, what hits you, so that you can refer back to it. Because look, we're in that eclipse window, and this is that time to take note and pay attention and then watch. Because when we're talking about eclipses, they echo 6 months from now. And what is changing now is basically the seeds for, where it's going to go into in the next 6 months. You're going to see the result of that in the next 6 months. So, which is why take some notes. Don't miss important things that you see and that you understand so that you can go back and wow, I knew it was coming. I felt it. I just knew it. So I always love doing, that's why I journal constantly, because it's very fascinating and validating to go back and see what you thought actually coming to fruition and coming true. Okay. Another thing too is that this lowers inhibitions, Uranus in trine with the moon. So you're going to have more freedom of expression, not holding back. And, there might be some impulsivity, but impulsivity here, and I've mentioned this, I think, in the last forecast, when it's in trine like this, that's a good thing. that's a breakthrough. That is the sudden start of something new. You know, when I think about just like at the time of conception, you have the sperm break through the egg. It's very sudden, it's rapid, and it sets a whole new trajectory, right? You have a whole human being that is going to be coming into this world as a result of that breakthrough. And so, welcome interruptions here. Welcome like something totally spontaneous and impulsive, because that is going to be in your favor to do so. Okay. So in that situation, you know, these kinds of impulsive acts under this influence doesn't create major chaos or disruption. It brings new life instead. Okay, so another reason to really trust your intuition here, and even more so to trust your intuition, we have the moon in sextile with Neptune. I mean, this is so much. This is so much. I mean, Friday is like revelation day because moon trine Uranus next to Pluto and sextile Neptune. You see this mini grand trine right here between the three of these? You are going to come in the know of something. You are going to see something. You are going to hear something. You're going to feel something, and it's going to come into your conscious awareness. It's not just something humming in the background. You see it, smell it, feel it, taste it. I mean, if you have abilities of like predicting the future, whew, write it down right now. Write it down right now. But this will really stimulate visuals. Neptune is visuals. It's imagery. It's imagination. It's spirituality. But you're probably going to get pictures in your head. You're going to get visions. This may be a time where you have some vivid dreaming as well. So, like I said, whatever comes, please record. And if you come back to this recording on Friday or even Saturday, if something opened up to you and you learned something powerful, if you feel free to share, please let us know what it is. I'm very excited to see what all of us empaths and hypersensitives are tuning into and tapping into and being revealed, like what's being revealed on this day. So very, very exciting day. Okay, so that's Friday. Let's continue on to Saturday. The other two are not as intense. Okay, so oopsie. Oh my gosh, what did I do, friends? I feel like I messed up something. Okay, I'm going to redo my share. My apologies. I'm not quite sure what I did. Okay, here, we're back. Okay, we're back. So Saturday, we have a shift on Saturday with Moon in Aquarius. And I am very grateful for that shift because Moon has a natural affinity to Aquarius. It's pretty calm and chill here. And it's also very intuitive and perceptive here, too. So I almost feel like whatever we get on Friday, Saturday is going to be able to intelligibly explain and express what we saw, what we learned, what we understood. It's such a I love that Aquarius is very well rounded. It is into science, it is into arts, it is into music, to poetry. I mean, it sees things from the left brain and the right brain. I mean, yeah, it has a little bit more of a bent towards being more logical and rational, but it really loves philosophy and higher learning and the arts as well. So I like how, with the moon being in Aquarius after what we just went through with that mini grand trine, is that we're going to be able to gather and understand the multiple layers and the different angles and the dimensions of the revelations that we received yesterday or on Friday. So very, very nice space. And it also is good at predicting the future too, and just seeing like the future outcomes of something as well. So more intuition. And not only that, we have sun and the moon in a very beautiful trine here, and that's always a pleasant combination where we feel more at ease physically, emotionally. So if Friday was a lot for you, at least Saturday we have some calmness here, with the moon being in Aquarius and in trine with the sun. Much easier to just be yourself. And then lastly, on Sunday, we have the moon still in Aquarius, but it's got a lot of conversations, and there are really good ones, and a lot of trines, a ton of trines actually. We have the moon in trine with the sun, moon in trine with Mercury. We have moon in trine with Jupiter. So we're going to feel so optimistic, so hopeful, okay, and so clear. In actually it's a here's a grand trine between Jupiter's sun and the moon. I mean, just what we're thinking, how we're viewing something, how we're feeling about something, it's all connecting and it's all aligned, and it all just feels perfect for our growth and evolution. That's what Jupiter represents, is expansion and growth, and moon in Aquarius is always about evolving. So all together, like our identity, the sun represents our identity. We see ourselves in this great evolution of ourselves. We see where we're going next. Because, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but between Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, this mini grand trine, we had it with the moon right here. When we combine all of those together, our spiritual lives even are going through a transformation. We are coming into more conscious awareness of who we are and how to be in this world and how to support this world with what we have to offer, and how the human community, how we must all change. We must all change, and we must shift into a higher level of consciousness. And so this whole like mini grand trine is going to be around for a couple of months. I believe it's until November. So that's all been in the background ever since I started doing forecasts. That's been around a long time. And so I really love the hopefulness and the possibility that we're feeling. There's more enthusiasm being generated and excitement being generated, even though it may look like some areas of our lives are crumbling to pieces or falling apart. But that's because that's what Pluto does. It destroys things in order to rebuild and erect something better and something new. But we can't erect something better and something new in that space if the old structures that are dilapidated, right, falling apart, are still present. So it's a clearing, cleansing out, and a rebuild, like all at the same time. So yeah, so this is a great things happening for the moon here. Another one that's worth mentioning is Mars. Mars is in trine with Neptune. So I really love the action that is taken with our imagination and our creativity. There is a lot of action here. There's a lot of disciplined, consistent action that I'm seeing. What have you been doing? What have you been doing that you have been showing up for, and you're surprised that you've been showing up for, that you're in amazement of yourself that you've been consistent? Because sometimes free spirits have a little harder time, but like what we're seeing is with Neptune, this is the free spirit too. This is the imaginative, the dreamer. And here we've got some legs on it. We've got some legs on it because Mars is taking action. So bringing forth your imagination into this realm, into this world, bringing forth your creative genius, like bringing forth your psychic intuition, your abilities, like your understanding of things, bringing that forward. So I love the movement and the materialization of what is so magical that is available to us, especially as empaths and hypersensitives. Okay, so that is our forecast for this week. Just again, like I said, record, document what you're seeing, what you're noticing, and please bless us. Share us what you've learned and what you see, what you are experiencing with this eclipse season, this eclipse window, and all of the incredible influences to the moon that represents our intuition and our emotional intelligence as well. And please go ahead and share this to anyone who needs to hear this great message, and like, subscribe. That really helps for people to see these forecasts each week. So I deeply appreciate that. And if you'd like a cosmic clarity consult, just go down below. There's always a link there if you are interested in diving into your personal chart. All right, thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next forecast, which is very important because we have a full moon that is a bit rocky, and you're going to want to hear how to deal with that. I'm going to give some recommendations when we get to that that full moon that has a lot of hard aspects to it. So, okay, well, we will see you next time. Bye-bye.